All right, hello everyone. Well, it's random. It's a random Friday now. And yesterday we got the TWID, basically confirmed that it is end of life for Destiny 2. I didn't expect it to be today of all days, so it is just a random Thursday. But I guess they wanted to set our expectations like now, and then over the coming weeks they'll reveal more and more about what we're actually going to get in June. I do think it is weird that it dropped like all of a sudden, yesterday or the 21st that, oh, yep, D2's done for, this is the final update. But if you watch if you watch my other video, I basically did think like there was two routes they could have gone, this or, send D2 off in a good enough state that people could still come back and play it in the long term, like an Age of Triumph, which they are literally doing, or they do something with the other expansions they had planned, and we end up getting those as well. But for that, like, there's right now after this Age of Triumph in June, I'm not sure, there might be a few patches that's small for like the weeks right after, but after that there's going to be absolutely nothing from Destiny for the foreseeable future. And a lot of people really react to it like, I don't think anybody knew it was coming out of nowhere, but the fact they came out yesterday was really random. But the writing was basically on the wall. Like, I think they knew this had to happen eventually. I think D2 hit a state where, so many things were breaking in the game. The story I liked the story, but I don't know if it was smart to start another saga. They wanted to say it was the next 10-year saga when the numbers were already, you have the final shape and everybody already thinks it's the final expansion. So the player drop off already is insane. No matter what it was, we were going to lose a bunch of players from the final shape. And that happened. And then Edge of Fate comes out, 100k. Story isn't bad, but the portal, really bad reception, and just the gameplay of the campaign wasn't good. I do like the story though. And then Tier Loot received okay, I think, in the beginning, but like pretty quickly everybody started to hate it, and nobody likes it really anymore. And then Renegades was fine, but Renegades had an even bigger player drop off. Even with the dungeon coming out of the contest race for the dungeon, players didn't really peak at all. It just happened. It just came and went. And that, right as of now, is the last official contest raid for Destiny in its history. So, but yeah, it's a sad day, but this was bound to happen eventually, either now or later. I do think the game should have ended with Final Shape, and I think everybody can agree with that. I'm not sure what they really wanted to do by trying to push their luck and go with another expansion and trying to advertise that they're starting this next 10-year saga, when I don't think really anybody wanted that. I think people were already fed up of Destiny. I think basically, if not with Beyond Light and the content vaulting, then I think Lightfall burned a lot of people's trust. Even though so many people came back for Final Shape, Lightfall hyped it up to a level we haven't seen until, the expansion right after. But it did all that to deliver a filler expansion with one of the most underwhelming raids we've ever had, right? And gameplay was fun, but that's really all that expansion had. And yeah, I'm not sure if people remember, but Lightfall was supposed to be just Lightfall and Final Shape together. They needed more time, and so Lightfall really was this filler, because if you just take out all of the gameplay, Lightfall, start and cutscene, put it together, and then put Final Shape, it's perfect. But off of that, it's a sad time, There's a lot of people, everybody feels a different type of way about it. I am sad, but I saw this coming. I literally knew this was going to happen. It was just when it was going to happen. But yeah, no announcement of a D3. I don't know if I really expected one. It really would have been nice to have one. I think the announcement that right after, the article, a lot of it is alluding that maybe there could be a D3, right? And then Right after that, we hear like an article come out that they're planning more layoffs, no D3 for now, and they're trying to focus on Marathon. Obviously for a lot of people, they hear focus on Marathon, and they're like, oh, that extraction shooter, that game's dog shit. So obviously the mob mentality, they're already trying to boycott the game and run the reviews into the ground, which I don't think it wasn't Marathon's fault that this happened. This was bound to happen the second Beyond Light came out and took away so much from us that we paid for, right? A lot of us did pay for Destiny 2 as a box product, and that box product is no longer anything we own, right? We really don't own any of that anymore. So as soon as that happened, it was really just bound to go downhill. And after that, so much more happened. Lightfall lost people's trust and all this. There was so many things that really led up to this that you can't really blame Marathon. And even then, it's not like... I think if Bungie was to focus on... If they only had Destiny and Marathon, only those two games, I think they would have been fine. But the real issue is that they had so many projects in the background that their focus just wasn't anywhere it needed to be. Maybe it could have been better, but Pete obviously built the company up to seem like a multi-IP company, and they had so many incubation projects, and they were spending so much money that Sony fell for it and they purchased, and then they expected so much from them, and Pete obviously got what he wanted. Like, he is the winner in this. Him and the other suits we don't know the names of, they got their money and they left, right? So for them, they win. For the players, I don't know. A lot of people really have not played since Final Shape. But a lot of people are, upset that, it's the end of it. But it was an hour later. It's just the time they ripped off the Band-Aid was a little bit odd. But that's really about it. I do think all the content they're adding, it's all pretty good content. And I'll probably play for a month or two, but it's really just like, this is like the ending for it. I'm not going to try and put too much time into it, because ultimately you're not playing towards anything. And a lot of the reason I did play Destiny was, playing for the next contest or something like that. Unfortunately, I don't think Destiny has been playing to have fun for a very long time for me. And that is a problem with the game, and I think that needed a lot of... You needed to do a lot to fix that, really. And I did see, too, in the article that, higher-ups at Bungie were talking about, like, certain people at Bungie were talking about maybe retooling the game to make it more approachable. And instead, they just decided, like, screw it, let's just call it end of service and pivot more people to Marathon. Which, I don't know if you really could have retooled the game this late into its lifespan. It's way too late, and I think the reputation of Destiny, not only Destiny, but Bungie themselves has just dug themselves so far deep into a hole that you really can't come out of it. It would have been nice to see, but I just don't think it was possible at all. Like, even now, I do think on June 9th, when people start playing, like when that update comes out, I think we'll see like an insane surge of players. I think we might see over 100k on Steam. I really don't care too much about the player count conversation, but obviously nowadays that's all anybody cares about. So, but I do think a lot of people will tune in to play, not just for that day, maybe for a week. But, as they said, it is like, this is the end. Nothing else is coming. And with no Destiny 3 and just bad news for Bungie, I think people just they're just going to walk away, probably go shit on Marathon, because it's pretty easy to do. But the timing of it is just not good. And, I really think they could have... A lot of what happened to Destiny was avoidable. But at the end of the day, here we are, right? You can't do anything about that now. All you can worry about now is how we got here and where we go from here. But I think all of it was avoidable, but the higher ups, they got what they wanted. They played it well. They got out with their money, and now the game's crumbling and the company might be crumbling, and they still have their money. Pete has more cars, probably on a yacht, all this. I do want to make a longer video, actually scripted. As you can probably tell, this one isn't very scripted. I'm just freeballing whatever. But I want to make an actual video because I do think if they make a Destiny 3, it has to be completely something else. I think it's past or future or whatever. I don't think you just carry this on. So I do think in a sense, like this is the end of the era for Destiny. Like 1 and 2, I think those two are done. I don't think you carry on 2. I don't know if you do a prequel to 1. I really don't know. But from where we go from here, only time will really tell. Like they're gonna pivot everything to Marathon. I still think Marathon is an amazing game. You know, some people might not think that, but it is an amazing game. It's just an extraction shooter. It might not be for everybody, but that doesn't mean it's a bad game. I don't know if Marathon really is, you know, 3 point whatever billion. I don't really think many games are that much. Obviously, Sony bought Bungie for their expertise in the live service market, which they clearly do have. In what we saw today, like another writer, he said they pitched like a Zevil Wrath raid, and we didn't get that. It's like, and you saw people saying that the devs were bad too. It's like, no, the devs knew what we wanted. All the devs, they're all very talented and they knew what we wanted. But obviously, when you work for other people, you answer. You don't just do what you want. It's not like the devs could have been like, no, dude, we're gonna make this raid, and they had to listen. When it was told no, there's nothing else they could do. Same with player housing, all of it, right? But it really is very bittersweet ending. I've had 2 people text me, GG's on Destiny. Like, you know, I'm not a dev, dude. It's fine, dude. I know it's like GG's, but it was a good run. I'm not sure if what's next, but I do hope Tony's at least like, all right, fine, let's do a D3, because they're still pitching ideas, which is odd to me. It's like what happened with Bluepoint. They were just pitching ideas. They didn't know what to do with Bluepoint, and eventually they just let Bluepoint go. But I feel like it's just a clear and obvious answer here. I don't know if there's a reason why we can't be a D3, but obviously that's where you go next. I don't know if Bungie would ever do completely new IP, but I don't think that would even be met well now with the people that they've cultivated, because, you know, it's a very passionate community, but obviously in that passion, they can be very toxic. Like, I don't like Marathon obviously is facing all the backlash right now, like majority of the backlash for what happened to Destiny, despite Destiny's problems came from itself, then the devs at the time and all this, right? If they were to make a new IP, the players would feel, you know, oh, we lost Destiny for this, and probably treat that the same way they're treating Marathon right now. Like, I don't know where they go from here. I think Bungie's in a spot where if it's not Destiny, people don't care about Bungie. That's just basically how it is. I think they really did make a great game with Marathon. Obviously there's problems, you know, cheaters and all that, but at a time where I guess people wanted more Destiny, they got Marathon and they were mad about Marathon. It certainly is no Destiny, but it's not trying to be, right? But yeah, I guess we'll have to see. I think people were saying, oh, they better announce something on State of Play. I highly doubt anything from Bungie will be at the State of Play. If it is, I'd be surprised, but I highly doubt it, right? I'd be glad I don't have to make that video I was thinking about for an end of an era, but I probably still will, because, you know, I don't think you can carry on Destiny 2. Like, the story, it's ended in a weird place. You can't stop it in the middle and continue it in a new game, and you can't act like it didn't happen. Obviously it did. And the ideas there, they're pretty cool, but you can't just leave it and act like it doesn't work or it didn't happen. But yeah, if you guys listen to this, thank you. Bunch of unscripted yapping. My next video hopefully will be that Destiny video, unless some other news comes out, but I highly doubt that. I think we'll see if Bungie lasts, how long they last, if they last like a year maybe, how Marathon's doing, what happens with Marathon Season 2. I will probably play that, but I can obviously expect that, you know, there will be people not playing because, you know, Bungie killed Destiny, so they'll purposely avoid it. But thank you all for listening, and you all have a good day.